CEOs, founders, managers, just trying to find that line just as much as anyone who works there. In that Quartz article, Georgene Huang, CEO of Fairy Godboss, wrote this, quote, "Despite knowing better than most about this bias, expectations, and unfair standards I'm being measured by, I nevertheless cannot honestly say I don't care how others within my company and professional and personal communities view my choices. I find myself cringing when asked the seemingly straightforward question, are you going to take your full leave?" Today I spoke with Georgene about her experience. A baby on the way in 2 weeks for her, no easy answers, even for an entrepreneur focused on helping other women achieve their professional goals. Even at the very top of, let's say, the pyramid in the corporate world, the CEOs who are women, even you feel pressure sometimes not to take the full maternity leave that you might want or need.
That's right. I think that life is full of competing priorities. I'm obviously a third-time mother because I want to be, and I very much, love that part of my personality and my life. But I also am extremely career-oriented, and I chose to. Nobody forced me to start and found a company. So both of those priorities matter a lot to me. So, even without external pressure, internally, I feel quite conflicted about what I have to do during maternity leave.
Did you feel more pressure when you had one child when you were in the UK, you had one child when you were here on your own financially, and now at the top as the CEO of your own company? At which point do you think you felt the most and least pressure?
I think I felt the most pressure the first time around, simply because it was the first time I'd ever done it. I think having a child for the first time is life-changing because you've worked for 10 plus years, if you're like a lot of moms these days in big cities having their children pretty late relative to historical times. And you don't want to change everything about your life overnight just because you're having a child. So there's this identity pressure.
One of my friends in particular, she has a PhD, she is very high achieving, and she's a mom of two. And she told me, honestly, she feels guilty because she feels like they're paying her all this money. She has a great position, but she leaves at 5 o'clock because she has to pick her kids up from daycare. Do you think that's common?
I do think it's common. I think we try to be the best, especially if you're a high-achieving person, at everything you do. No one wants to say, oh, I'm mediocre at that, which I think is sort of it's culturally interesting. Like, why is it that you need to be good at everything and at all times equally good at everything?
You are an entrepreneur. You're a visionary in many ways, always thinking ahead and how to fix things. Solution-wise, when it comes to corporate, when it comes to cultural, what should we be doing, do you think?
I think some of the things that companies have been doing in the last couple of years have been right on the mark. And what I'm specifically referring to is not only paying for your leave, because we've seen that, I run a community of career-minded women who, many of them have families, and when they've taken longer maternity leave, they say their job satisfaction levels are higher. So smart companies understand that to retain their employees, who they've trained and invested in and spent a lot of money hiring, to retain them, they're going to have to be there for them when their life changes. And that doesn't have to mean, accepting they'll be away forever, but paying for 12 weeks maternity leave will mean a more loyal employee when she or he returns. And I say or he because I think that leading companies also treat maternity leave very seriously because they understand that it can actually cement gender stereotypes that are quite damaging to women if you place all the assumptions about parenting responsibilities on the woman.